Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad, the show where we talk about streaming technology. This is episode 179 on April 22nd, 2020. I am Clyde, and today I am joined by Matthew Ross.
Hey.
Jimmy Trammell.
Hey Clyde, how's it going?
And Michael Aston.
Hello everybody.
So, what's up guys? Nothing? Okay, that was the show. Thank you, everybody. We got nothing to talk about.
Order takeout. Are you guys still going to the grocery stores?
Yeah.
I've gone maybe twice in the last month to Costco specifically because they don't do delivery. And they make my croissants, and it's the only place to get the really croissants.
Well, Costco croissants are a bad thing to buy because then you eat them all.
Yeah, that's right.
See, for me, they're a bad thing to buy because I only end up eating 2, and the rest end up in the trash. So I learned don't buy that stuff in bulk.
Have you guys tried Instacart?
We have multiple solutions here. We do Amazon Fresh and Walmart does delivery. Walmart actually delivers now, so we do both of those. And my wife does something else, I'm not sure what it is, that also delivers us groceries, and she rotates between the three to find what she wants because everybody is out of something every time we try to order.
So yeah, well, Instacart, I have to recommend. I'll tell you, they really give good service. The price is right. They don't charge you a lot of money, to deliver, and they do most national grocery store chains. Costco, I think, is one of them. Right?
Oh, okay.
So Instacart, yeah, you can just do it right on your phone, right? They make an app on your phone, and it's. I have to say, and I think maybe I had tried them maybe once or something like that before this thing started happening. But now I'm getting to where I use them quite a bit now.
I go out about once a week because about once a week I go out to my work. They just, it's once a week. I got to go out and fix a couple of things, install a couple of things people have purchased, and or just check out the servers and make sure they're still doing what they're supposed to be doing. Nothing really bad is happening that I would be aware of if I was just there. So when I go out, I go do that stuff. Nobody's in any of the buildings, so it's pretty clean and clear. Every once in a while, I bump into people. We try to not be too spend too much time too close together, and then I usually come back and I go to a store and pick up the things we need. Got my mask, got my hat, and and I make sure I don't touch anything after where I go and do any of that. And then I go home and jump in the shower.
You got a fancy homemade mask, or is it something that you bought at the store?
It is. So we had the disposable surgeon masks for a while, and I still have one of those left. But I have a mask that I have purchased somewhere. It's okay. You know what? The mask is essentially stopping whatever you're doing from going out that direction. It basically redirects it into this direction. So my glasses fog up.
Yeah, that's my favorite part is the glasses fogging up.
But also if something from out there comes towards me, hopefully it stops it too. So it does make sense, even though the mask I have, there's almost nothing breathing through it. It's
I just wondered if you had something cool that you had made, or if you found a really neat one that had like a what is it, a Triforce symbol or something cool like that?
No, but we got where my wife, when we were in Hawaii, saw the masks at the ABC store and said, "Oh, those are cool. Maybe we should pick some up." And I went, "Nah, we don't need those." And then we got home and she said, "Actually, I think we do, and they're sold out everywhere. I wonder if the ABC store ships." And they did, and we got it in the mail. So
Cool.
it came from Hawaii. So it's got Hawaiian flowers on it and all that. So whatever.
Nice.
Cool.
Oh, I should have brought it and put it on for the show. Obviously, that's what I should have done.
So
My daughter made me one out of like a camouflage-ish, greenish color, because all of the other colors they had were like pink and paisley and stuff like that, and that was the only one that was close to something that I would choose. But homemade is pretty cool.
Yeah, my sister-in-law made us one, so that's what we're using now.
Okay.
Nice.
You guys are sharing a mask?
No,
She made you one.
She made me one and my wife one.
It's really wide. You put it around one ear of one person, then it just goes all the way across
for
to
like
the other person to
for
their
for
ear.
like a conjoined twin surgeon.
Exactly.
Separate bodies, but their heads are attached. Just one mask.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what do we have anything to talk about that actually pertains to streaming technology?
Streaming technology, that's not a thing, actually. It's a huge thing. NBC Universal has launched the Peacock service. We've been talking a little bit about Peacock and how it's been, coming out soon, and it's going to be their version of providing free access or paid for access to there are many different shows available from the NBC companies. It is now available if you own a Comcast streaming service and or an Xbox, an X1. If you have the Flex or the X1 box, they're allowing you to have access to it now. It's not going to be available to everybody else just yet. It looks like they're going to be delaying that until July 15th to let other people, us normal people, try the service.
Hey, look, they're going to have Olympic coverage.
Yeah, next year.
Oh, wait.
Someday, maybe.
No, so yes, they were going to be making the Olympics a big push about when you should go get yourself the Peacock. And by the way, there's no paid for service. It is all free, all ad supported. I am curious to see how if there's actually a good amount of content on it and not too much commercials to annoy the hell out of me. If that's the case, I'd probably try it.
Yeah, it does look like a decent service. What, $5? Is that their?
Now there is an ad-free version of it. Peacock Premium, $9.99 a month.
Oh, the $5 version has ads, and then the $10 version does not.
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything compelling for me. Much like the Apple service. It sounds like they've got a bunch of stuff, but nothing that I'm really interested enough to pay for.
If there was an old NBC show you really wanted to watch, it would be a decent way of doing it.
If I've already watched it, I will never watch it again. I don't
Right.
like rewatching stuff. So
Okay. There are some shows I'm willing to watch once every decade if they're that good. But
yeah, the only time that I will rewatch something is for the sake of somebody else, and that is almost never.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
But one question about the service before we move on here: is there any original content in this service?
They've announced a lot of stuff. Like, let's see, there's Amy Poehler has a show, Mindy Kaling's got a show, Tina Fey's got a show.
Okay.
I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff. But like I said, from what I've seen, none of it is nothing that I really care about. so far.
Yeah.
I saw an ad of a Peacock show with David Schwimmer as an idiot in a business environment. So
So
Mm.
as David Schwimmer.
exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, poor David. Hey, Charter is going to be offering all the people who currently have HBO through their cable service HBO Max for the exact same fee that they were paying before. In other words,
They're offering the same deal that HBO is already
exactly.
offering.
And apparently they had to make a deal with HBO to make this happen. Why make it difficult? I don't understand this. Why is this so difficult? Why is this not just
Well,
that HBO is turning into HBO Max?
Here's the difference is if you get HBO through cable, you get HBO Go. Right?
Okay.
So the people that were getting HBO Max for the same price as HBO Now, they're paying strictly for streaming. All of that money goes to HBO regardless. Because HBO lets, or they take a different pay cut for if you're subscribing to HBO through the cable, which is the Go people. So yes, Go was not given Max. And this is basically saying, hey, these people want to subscribe to cable. You're going to get what you normally get, but we want to give them the new service, which is more, but not, give you more money. So
is this a $15 a month service?
Yeah. So it's basically the same price as, or the HBO Max is the same price as HBO Now. So yeah, $15, $16 in there.
Right.
It's one of those things where if you're an HBO Now subscriber, it makes absolutely no sense not to switch.
Right.
Because you're going to get
have more
stuff for the same price.
Right.
But it's not necessarily compelling for people that were cable subscribers to subscribe to Max for the $16. So this move by Charter makes sense. It's good. I think it's good for everybody.
Yeah, sure.
But
it makes perfect sense. It's needlessly complicated from HBO, from my point of view. This should be just simple. This should be, hey.
I don't think it is. It's because HBO Max is a streaming service.
Sure.
For those, this story is about people that aren't buying the streaming service they're getting it from their cable provider.
Right.
So they're not going to just throw in extra streaming for free.
But they got Go for free.
That is different. That's just because that's a constellation that, fine, we understood that you're paying for this one thing.
Right. And now you're
and
paying
here's
for this
access
other thing.
to it. It's not going to be great. They don't update it. They don't do anything with it. It's just kind of you're better off if you just ditch the cable and pay for it directly.
So I'm with Matt. I'm with Matt on this. It's a little bit more complex than what it needs to be. I mean, to me, I think a better idea would have been like, oh, okay, you know what? Here, for $5 a month, we'll give you. You don't give any new shows, but we'll give you access to all the back catalog, right? Give you that for $5 a month.
That's what HBO is. HBO has like 2 shows. All you're paying for is back catalog.
Right.
At $16.
Well, but they still come out with new seasons of stuff.
Barely.
Yeah.
Half the time I go in there and there's nothing new.
I have an analog to this situation, which hopefully makes sense. HBO Max is to HBO as the Wii U is to the Wii. The HBO and the Wii were both extremely popular. HBO still is extremely popular, and the Wii was an extremely popular gaming console. People didn't understand what the Wii U was, and so a lot of people were like, I don't know if I want this. Should I get this? Is it kind of cost more? Is this an add-on? Do I have to have both? There were these questions, Thus, the naming was confusing. Thus, one of the reasons why the Wii U was a failure.
They needed to call it the Wii 2. And then
That
people
would
would
have been better.
made
That would have
sense.
been
Oh,
better.
this is a new thing, not an upgrade to the existing.
Right. That would have been better. And HBO Max is slightly better than the Wii U in naming. Kind of.
No. I would say HBO Max is the 32X to the Genesis. It was the add-on thing that allowed you to play the 32X games. You just plugged it into the top, and it gave you access to more stuff.
But that analogy says that you still needed the Genesis. You don't still need HBO. All right. All right. Anyways, hey, Netflix is working with a bunch of their documentaries and putting a lot of them up for free on YouTube. These documentaries are there for the sole intended for the purpose for various students and teachers to be shared and used in their classes. This is a bunch of different ones that they've been setting up. Like I've never heard of many of these, like Chasing Carl, 13th Babies, Knock Down the House. These are the various, many of their various documentaries now available for free on Hulu, so kids can have something to have homework about.
Yeah,
I have watched the one Our Planet. I've watched that one before.
Our Planet is really good. It's an excellent documentary.
It is.
I definitely recommend it. I watched at least part of it with my kids, and they enjoyed watching it. It's very similar. What was it a few years ago? Earth or Planet
Earth.
That it's comparable in cinematography and stuff to that. Just absolutely gorgeous and well narrated. It's very good.
Yeah, and being on Netflix, being on YouTube, it should be available to just about everybody at this point. But we'll see. Other content is involved. It looks like they've got more on there as well, so available for you to see, and more, and even more things are going to be coming later in the weeks as well. So we're going to probably see a lot more of this stuff come up for free, and on YouTube, if you ask me, is an excellent platform for this.
Yeah.
Hey.
I was just going to say, I haven't logged or watched anything on Disney Plus since probably December, so I'm canceling it this month when I remember.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, okay.
So, I mean, did I miss the discussion about Disney Plus somehow?
No, we didn't.
I'm sorry. I was on the wrong story.
Apparently. And my next story has nothing to do with Disney Plus either. It has to do with Minecraft. Hey guys, did you know Minecraft is a game? Did you know that it's a game that's somewhat popular with some of the kids? And did you know that they're now have a version of Minecraft that I can't run on my PC because it's takes too much computer than I have.
Ray tracing.
I know Minecraft is got a new ray tracing versions available, which uses the NVIDIA GeForce RTX models to provide ray tracing based lighting effects and graphics to the game, which makes the blocky game look really good for being blocky.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I don't know. I mean, I've seen the pictures, but I wonder how that really affects normal in-game scenes and stuff. Obviously, it does. They do add things like fog and
God rays. You gotta love the God rays.
God rays and stuff. Those things will definitely add some ambiance and feel to the scene, but it seems like with Minecraft, it's just ultimately overkill. It's still blocks, but you don't go to Minecraft for a gorgeous game. You go to Minecraft for something that's fun to play.
Okay, it's been pointed out that I did skip a story. I apologize.
That's why I was so confused.
Yeah, we were wondering if we were going to catch it later or what.
We'll catch it next.
Okay.
But yeah, no, this whole the rage, I don't know how I feel about this. I saw this. It came up in my phone was like, "Hey, you really need to read this story." And I saw the thing, and it doesn't look like Minecraft to me.
Okay, well,
But you got to remember, I was part of the original beta for Minecraft,
sure.
and
Isn't it still in beta?
I mean,
The Java
kinda.
version?
That's why I said the original beta, the very first beta. I emailed and waited, then got invited,
Nice.
and so there's an expectation of what it should look like, and I don't see the benefit personally. I don't need this fuzzy sunlight everywhere.
It's all about eye candy, and here's the thing: eye candy sells video games. Quite frankly, they really do. The game is not going to be in any way, shape, or form technically any different. So if you're looking for some improvement to the game, like I don't know, curves, you're not getting any of that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The minute they introduce curves is the minute they have jumped the shark.
Oh no, you're probably right.
To be clear, eye candy sells games normally. Minecraft's one of the most successful games in history, if not the most successful game in history, and it never once sold for eye candy. So
it never once sold. It was a free game.
But I will say that it is reasonable for them to want to add these kinds of things. It is a feature. You can turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay to say, hey, we're adding this kind of functionality in. I think the more exciting thing about Minecraft is that they're stepping into new areas, like their RPG that they're going to be releasing.
Well, that's been out for a while. They've had a couple different.
Already
the story mode?
No, he's
story mode.
Minecraft Dungeons.
Oh,
Minecraft.
Okay.
What is it called?
Minecraft Dungeons.
Dungeons. That's right.
It's basically a Diablo style game.
This is. I mean, but also you got to remember that this isn't the Minecraft. This isn't Minecraft. This is Microcraft, because Microsoft bought this like 5 or 6 years ago, and it's forked from the creator's original vision, which is to be expected.
No, I mean, I think that that's somewhat fair, but I don't think that's totally fair, because if you read what the original creators have said about the evolution of their business and their organization, this is roughly the path that they intended to follow all along. Now, maybe obviously Microsoft has had influence over things, but they early on tried building other game systems and found that difficult and something that they didn't overall find successful or necessarily enjoyable, and decided that they would iterate on Minecraft and do things like add stories and add stuff. So story mode was always was something they intended regardless of Microsoft. The dungeons thing, I don't know the influence there, but I love the idea. I love role-playing games. I love dungeon crawlers and stuff like that. So I'm totally on board with that. I think that I will probably pick that up and try it, because I love building things in Minecraft, but I also like games that have a story and a purpose. And that's what draws me back in time and time again, is having a story and something to accomplish. Occasionally I'll pick up Minecraft for a couple of days and play around and build things, but that's all that it lasts, is a couple of days until I finish whatever I built and then I'm done.
Yeah. So speaking specifically about the RTX thing, and specifically about what that does, it is beautiful. Ray tracing is amazing. I do agree. That being said, I have seen what the smart graphics people can do with games that can have ray tracing, and then trying to do as best they can without it. They can do some pretty close graphics without ray tracing. So I don't know if that's. I mean, sure, I'm all for it. I'm all for better graphics as the processors get more powerful. But man, we're talking $400 graphics card, $300 or a bit more graphics cards. Now I have hiccups.
Yeah.
Great. Hey, we should talk about Disney Plus.
No, I already said all I need to say. We can move
I
on.
guess all I have to say about Disney Plus is that Disney Plus has taken the Artemis Fowl movie that they were planning to release, and instead of releasing it to the theaters, it's going to be coming out for you to watch directly on Disney Plus on June 12th. The Artemis Fowl is the movie of the 12-year-old genius boy of descendants of multiple mastermind evildoers, and as he tries to discover what's happened to his father in some strange, crazy story, which is a series of popular kids' books.
Okay.
I love the fact that they're releasing it for us on Disney Plus. I think this is one where I would never have gone to see it in theaters, but I will probably end up watching it to see what it's like.
So,
Go ahead.
what I want to know is, does this take place in the DuckTales universe? Because Fowl is the evil organization that's always attacking Scrooge McDuck.
I don't know, and if it isn't, it should be like referenced correctly and then just left alone. But that would be great.
Although in the most recent, or one of the most recent, or most recent season of DuckTales, it's airing right now. In a reality bending episode, everybody got turned into like what we know of as people, and they freaked out. They're like, "What are these fleshy meat monsters?" It's hilarious. So if this guy showed up, he'd be one of those fleshy meat monsters.
I love it.
Hey, okay. Netflix has a new feature available on their mobile device. It looks like they're starting it off with Android users. It's a new button that appears while you're watching the show called Screen Lock. Screen Lock makes it so the screen, all the various controls from scrubbing and skipping and play and pause, to disappear and cannot be easily accessed on the screen, so you can't accidentally hit it. By tapping once on the screen, it pops up a "Do you want to unlock controls?" pop up, or just by double tapping, it does in fact unlock the screen. And I can foresee this being useful when I'm watching a show and falling asleep and having the thing fall on my face.
Okay.
It'll keep playing. It's great.
So this has been a Android standard for most applications for years. My podcast app does this, where you can, when the phone is locked, when you go to wake it up, it just brings up the application that's running with the controls there. I hate it. I absolutely hate that thing, because then I have to dismiss that and then do extra steps to get to the thing I'm trying to do.
Well,
I don't
but
want
that's
this.
different, because in this case, you're talking about you're watching a screen and watching a video and protecting you from accidentally.
Well, no, and that's what I'm saying. It's the same fundamental. That's they're protecting you from two different things, but essentially you're going through extra steps to get to the thing that you want to do, and I hate that. I just if I have Netflix up, I don't want this. I want to just immediately do the action I want. I don't want to have to go through extra steps. That's all.
That's why it's great that it's a feature you can utilize. I love it. On multiple occasions, my stupid phone, like, I'll bump the bottom edge of it when I pick it up because it's got a stupid curved screen, which is the dumbest thing that I ever did.
Oh, but it's so cool. This obviously you want it so you can't touch any edges without actually doing something accidentally.
Screens, like, why?
You got to get a phone shovel that you slide underneath it to pick it up.
Yeah.
How does this feature work if you do picture in picture?
I don't think it does.
Why would you do picture in picture on a phone when you want to watch Netflix? I don't know. Maybe
I mean, all you kids do two things at once, right?
No, I am not those kind of kids.
My kids are doing two things at once on two different devices. They'll have one device doing one thing, and then they're doing the other thing on the other device. So
I see. Well, I don't know. I mean, all smartphones have this capability of doing picture-in-picture. I just wondered, if you have on screen lock, does that still let you do picture-in-picture?
Oh no, don't think so. I imagine if you started picture-in-picture, these options would not be available, or if you were inside this mode, I don't think picture-in-picture options would show up. So no. All right, GeForce Now, that streaming service where you can play the games that you want own, has been losing the access to certain games for a while. And in a long press release where they say, "Oh, we're doing so good with all these different companies," they also included one little paragraph that said, "Yeah, by the way, we've lost access to Warner Brothers, Xbox Game Studios, and Codemasters and." Klei, Klei, Klei. I think it's Klei.
Not me. I was like, they never had access to me, so
No,
they didn't lose
not
it.
Clyde. Klei, Klei. I don't know how to say it. Klei.
Clie,
But Klei,
like the Sony PDA that I had for like a week.
I don't know, but anyways, they've still got access to Bandai Namco, Bungie, Epic Games, and Ubisoft, and there's also a possibility of their service being used as a white label service for other major things out there as a possibility. But a lot of game studios have lost. They've already lost 2K Games and Activision and Bethesda before. And also, it's as marked in this story, it does make sense that the Xbox studios would disappear because Microsoft has Project Xbox being their competing product. So that makes sense.
What is the reason for this? Didn't we speculate that it's Stadia was originally the first couple that left thought, maybe it's Stadia poaching them and giving them some sort of deal to get an exclusive, but this is a lot of people leaving.
Hey, if it still is all Stadia getting exclusive deals, that could be really great for Stadia. But if it's not,
then that's what I'm saying. It seems too much to be a Stadia exclusive thing.
All that sweet Google money. Wonderful.
So if it's not, then what is the underlying reason that everybody seems to be running away?
So I don't know enough about GeForce Now's performance and results, though I will say, from all of the other streaming services that we've reviewed and we've talked about, and I've talked to people that use it, there have been noticeable complaints overall about game performance and stuff like that. So I wonder if it comes down to something like that, where they, as game producers, they're getting enough negative feedback from consumers that they want to pull their titles to just not have customers unhappy with a game because they have a bad experience on GeForce Now. So, I mean, it's a possibility. I can't make a full statement to that, but I know that there was a lot of complaints about certain games in Stadia when we talked to people at CES, and I do feel like I recall them talking about GeForce Now a little bit and having similar issues. So,
all right.
Sorry, finishing.
But the question is then, if GeForce Now dies, what happens to the NVIDIA Shield? Because this has been their huge marketing push for the Shield, is you need the Shield because you can play the games through GeForce Now. And then what about the people that paid for an expensive Android TV that can no longer play the games that they were promised?
That's a good question, and that could be some type of thing that somebody would have to deal with legally, possibly.
I'm just saying as far as the future, because we're not if GeForce Now dies, then what does that mean for the Shield? Are they going to stop iterating? Is it no longer are they going to just stop making it? Because that's that's been the whole reason for their Shield.
It's a good point, and that might be the case where they say it's not worth the trouble, especially if it means that they're not going to be able to do anything with their streaming service with it. Who knows? We don't know, man. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and I suspect there are people looking at the big picture here and going, we don't want streaming to be a thing. We want people to buy hardware, and that could be what's going on here. We don't
But
want
even
people
the new
to share
hardware,
stuff.
even the new hardware isn't going to be like physical media.
No, I mean like PC parts or whatever.
No, I'm talking the new Xbox and PS5.
It's a reasonable question
All
to
cloud.
ask. Why
True.
would GeForce, why would NVIDIA want people using a cloud service that sells less graphics cards? Right? Like, don't we want people to buy our high-end graphics cards to play it on their home PC rather than use some sort of cloud-based graphics cards that are rendering in a farm where much fewer graphics cards can satisfy the customer base, right? So what you're saying, Matt, makes a lot of sense. This whole model doesn't make a ton of sense for GeForce. So why are they doing it? Maybe they're coming to that realization and they're not offering as good of deals. And so
Right.
what's ending up happening is it's dying a death that they want.
Right. So there's a question in the chat because the GeForce NVIDIA Shield does have an option in GeForce, and I think also just the GeForce app, of launching games from your Steam library on another machine in your house. I don't think that's going to be stopped in any way, shape, or form.
Mhm.
I don't think that's the licenses are preventing any of that from happening. You own a machine, you're streaming it from your machine to another machine.
Yeah.
That's going to continue.
That basically is just utilizing existing Steam functionality,
Right.
where you could stream to a different device in your house. So, yeah.
I don't think that's going away. It's only the cloud-based titles that were being accessed through the cloud service for free or for only small amount of money. So that's okay. Hey, did we talk about Voodoo yet?
They're
I don't think we did.
still with Walmart, right?
Well, Walmart was kind of saying, "Hey, we want to sell Voodoo."
Yeah, back in December they were
Anybody
like,
wants-
"Hey, it's not for sale, but that doesn't mean we wouldn't sell it if somebody gave us."
Hey,
an offer.
anybody know of anybody want a piece this Voodoo thing, because we really want to sell this Voodoo. Well, Fandango said, "Hey, make you a deal. We'll buy it from you." And they did. They bought it from them, and it is continuing as its own product next to the Fandango now. They're going to be complementing services, and one is not going to take over the other. So Fandango is now the owner of Voodoo, and if you had any of your stuff purchased through Voodoo, it's still going to be there, just under new owners.
I mean, it makes perfect sense because Fandango is how I got into the Voodoo / Ultraviolet ecosystem in the first place, because Fandango was a participant. And it was, hey, if you sign up for an account with Voodoo or with Fandango, you'll get 5 movies of your choice in your Voodoo library or your Ultraviolet library. And I was like, all right. So that's how I got a Fandango account, like back in 2012, I think it was.
Very cool.
So, yeah, makes perfect sense. If anybody was going to buy it, I think Fandango will be a good steward.
Very cool. Hey, HBO Max.
Never heard of
We've
it.
been waiting for it. We finally have a date. So are you guys going to sign up for it on May 27th?
I don't pay for HBO right now. Why would I start?
Okay. Just asking.
I got HBO Go.
HBO. Oh, okay. You got HBO Go. Well,
I get it
Max.
free from my cell phone provider that owns HBO.
Well, they are officially announcing that it's going to be available on launch day, May 27th. And that has been the kind of thing that they've kind of not been telling us for, I don't know, half a year. It's going to be launched with 10,000 hours of content and a bunch of new launch day premieres, including Love's Life and On the Road, Legendary, and Craftopia. So if you're interested, they do have a bunch of new stuff that's going to be coming out for HBO Max and will be available for us to ignore on
I mean,
March 20
you're
May
glossing
27th.
over Legendary, a series about an underground ballroom dance competition. This sounds like
Oh, wait.
Mm.
So
visiting-
can I amend my original answer? Say I'm giving up my free HBO. I'm signing up for HBO Max. I didn't know there was a ballroom dancing show.
underground ballroom dancing competition.
Oh, and it's underground. So like are they
Yeah.
literally like in a basement someplace or a bunker?
That's what I'm envisioning. If
Okay.
it's not in the sewers or in a basement, I'm protesting.
The catacombs under the Vatican.
That's right. They go from different like underground like dwelling things, you know, the tunnels under
The
Paris.
sewer tunnels,
That-
yeah, under France,
Bingo
yeah.
in the catacombs.
This is my vision. This sounds like a great show. I'm on board now.
Okay. See, I have a feeling I'm going to be going in with that expectation. I'm going to be just as disappointed as I was when I saw Tiny House Hunters. Because I thought Tiny House Hunters was little people buying houses. No, it was regular people buying.
Buying ridiculously
coops.
small houses.
Chicken coops, yeah.
Hey, Apple TV Plus has released their Fraggle Rock On miniseries, at least the first episode to it, on their service. This is the reboot of the much beloved Fraggle Rock show from my youth. That I know. Hey, don't get that song stuck in my. No, sir, you are not allowed. No, you may not.
So you just like it because of Traveling Matt. That's why you watched it.
Actually, I forgot about that. But no, it's Fraggle Rock was one of those great shows, and I was a big fan of Dozers. So yes, I'd say this is something I might be interested in checking out if I had Apple TV Plus.
One thing you left off there, Matt, for Apple TV Plus, also debuting on Friday, is going to be the Beastie Boys documentary on Apple TV Plus.
Okay, that's also a thing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that one actually.
Okay, well, that's good. I've never been a huge Beastie Boys fan. I mean,
Oh,
I
well,
get it. I get them totally.
I wasn't a huge fan. I mean, yeah, they were popular in the 80s, and yeah, I was in college in the 80s. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah. All right. Android TV has some new features to help you find interesting things to watch during this time of quarantine. It's added some new so as you know, the menu for the new Android TV has a various rows of things for you to look at. And they've introduced a couple new rows for you to see. 3 of them in particular called Stream Shows and Movies You Love, Play with Your Remote, and things you can play with your gamepad. They've got a new watch list available for you to see, and I'm trying to find the other thing that they've put on here. Yes, here's what the 3 words: COVID-19 news as a row, stay home with hashtag with me, and the free movies from YouTube row, which is going to be highlighting those free movies that are on YouTube. The Stay Home With Me one is special in the fact that it's got a lot of the various shows and videos about things that you would want to do at home, like cooking shows and workout sessions and things like that. I don't know if I want my TV interface to be being taken over by this. I hope that a lot of this is optional that you can turn off. I have not logged into my Android box recently to see what it looks like and how prevalent it is, but I'm hoping.
Well, I mean, it's just in a suggested field. You don't have to go.
Well,
through
apparently
that.
it's taking over 3 of those
Yeah.
rows with the suggested stuff. So.
Yep, but whatever.
All right, Warner Brothers made an announcement about Scoob, the newest recreation of the Scooby-Doo franchise. Was originally intended to come out to movie theaters. It is now going to be coming out available for you to watch through on May 15th through the various rental services. You will be able to rent it for $20 or a wise move if you ask me. Buy it for $25.
There you go.
So I think this story is misguided.
Okay.
It's not news that this is going to be direct to DVD or direct to streaming, because much like the other 200 Scooby-Doo movies, they were all direct, right?
Not
Direct
all of
what?
them. There were
I'm not talking the live action thing.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking the actual animated
Ah.
incarnations have all been direct to something.
Okay, gotcha.
Probably
What
true.
was noteworthy or was news was the fact that this was going to be in the theater.
Yes, it was.
That was the shocker. Yeah, no, they did those 2 live action ones. Those are the only Scooby-Doo anything that's ever been in the theater of the hundreds of Scooby-Doo movies that are out there. And trust me, I've seen all of them. So, yeah, I don't like the animation from this
Oh,
picture.
really?
I don't like the plasticky wannabe real 3D stuff that they're starting to do, like the new Ghost in the Shell. I was super excited when there was a new Ghost in the Shell, and then I saw it and went, "Oh no."
The style I would say is Piscar-esque, and that is a thing that is and it fits the Scooby-Doo comic cartoon style fairly well. I watched the trailer before, but I'm sure you'll figure if I decide that no, you're not interested in it. But yeah.
There's been a couple new Netflix or animes on Netflix that have popped up. I went, "Oh, this is interesting," and I started watching it and went, "No."
I'll have to see that new trailer for your Ghost in the Shell and see this kind of plastic style. See if I like it.
Hold up the pictures of it, and that's not.
And I'm not saying it's exactly the same. I'm just saying it's in similar vein. I don't like it because this thing.
So I agree with you about the Ghost in the Shell series. This, not seeing it as video, but seeing it as pictures, I do not like it. It doesn't have that nice anime art feel that the original had.
No, it's like they tried to make they took like a video game engine.
Yeah.
Like tried to do, hey, we'll just do Ghost in the Shell and use Final Fantasy, whatever.
We'll have to see what it ends up looking like in a full series, but obviously with Ghost in the Shell, I'll give it a shot.
But I mean, like I said, it's not the same exact thing with this Scooby-Doo, but it's similar in the fact that I don't like this animation style. So, and it feels like a huge departure in the wrong direction from what is Scooby-Doo.
I think it looks generally good, but I think who's the other guy, the blonde guy?
Shaggy or Freddy?
Freddie Prinze. No, it's Fred.
Fred, yeah.
Who was played by Freddie Prinze.
Ridiculous in this. I think everybody else looks good, but I think he looks ridiculous. He looks like a middle-aged dude that is trying to look young.
Because Fred was a middle-aged dude trying to look young.
No, he was supposed to be a high schooler.
Just the same age as the other guys, just the athlete. Just the job.
He claimed to be the same age as them.
Scandal in Scooby-Doo! Rip off the mask, see who really is behind all this. Was it for you darn kids?
Yeah.
You pesky kids.
You meddling kids.
All right.
All right, hey guys, AT&T. They've got their amazing service of providing you with TV customers around the world are enjoying their amazing services. And it was announced today that they lost 900,000, nearly a million customers in this first quarter. The story explains how this includes the DirecTV, Uverse TV, and the new AT&T TV offerings. They basically have been bleeding customers.
Did you say they lost 900 million this quarter?
I was going to say 900. It's 900,000.
Okay, I just want to make sure because I was like that. I don't. I think that's more than
900 million
I don't think they have that many customers in
total.
worldwide.
No, they have 19, just under 19 million left, which surprises me. I feel like it seems like it should be so much smaller now.
Well, I mean, every time I see this story pop up, right, which seems to be almost every quarter now, but it makes me think, man, the sales guy that sold them DirecTV, right? I mean, that guy must have been a heck of a sales guy.
Well,
right?
you got to figure out you got to remember that some of this is to be expected because they officially pulled the plug on DirecTV. So how many people were still hanging on and paying their bill and were subscribers that were basically forcibly they were cast away? So how much of that is those people?
I'm sure it's a lot.
As opposed to people that just got fed up and left.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, this is the problem with numbers most of the time is you don't really you have a number, but you don't have the details to fully understand that number. But
I mean, DirecTV was a failing business, right? Even when they bought it, right?
Yeah.
And AT&T, I guess the powers to be there at AT&T thought, oh, okay, well, it'll give us access to a big customer base and help save our television division, right? And yeah, I just don't think it was a smart move for them.
No. This is just this is the sad decline of multiple businesses swallowed up by the conglomerate AT&T as it slowly digests them, and the remains are being left out.
I would argue that the company was going to die either way, and they lived longer because AT&T was willing to ride it out longer. I think DirecTV would have, it's my opinion, DirecTV probably would have been put down 5 years ago had AT&T not said, you know what, let's just keep going.
I argue that the back five plus years ago, you still had this competition between Dish and DirecTV, that they were still basically fighting for a customer base. That I would argue that if one of them died and the other one was able to essentially get most of those other customers who wanted to have the satellite service, they would probably still be fairly well regarded this day. I mean, I agree that there would be a big decline, but I bet you they would still have decent numbers at this time.
No, because you got to remember that if that was the 90s and satellite was a viable technology, competitive, then maybe. But you were talking, 5 years ago was when streaming really took off and cord cutting really took off. And, the whole reason that people usually went to satellite was because I don't like the cable company. I want to go with something else. Now, there's another option and I don't have to put a thing on my house. Let's go that way. So
I think it's also important to look at, I mean, that's kind of something that's already happened, right? Mm-hmm. Like DirecTV dying and satellite going the way of the wind. And the only reason that anything like that still exists, I agree with you, Clyde, is that there are places where watching TV via the internet is still just impractical and it's hard to get.
No, absolutely. And that was the only reason, and that was one reason that it still continued in certain areas. But for the most part, a big reason for the decline over the last 5 years is that, like in metropolitan areas, there are options.
And I agree that it would decline. I just think I think it would have been a stronger, and the satellite businesses, if they were all consolidated into one, would just have been a better option for a longer period of time. That's all. I still think you're right. I think that they would have been like, oh, And we know you guys there's option for your cable, and we know you have those streaming services those Netflixes out there. But if you wanted an alternative, Dish could be for you. And that's what I think.
What I think that one of the biggest things that killed satellite television, I think, is just the 2-year contract you'd have to sign,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, that it was just a bad business model, right? I mean, here comes, streaming television, which has no contract. You just paid month to month, right? And then I think once that come along, then cable television, I think cable television maybe always had that business model, right? So satellite television gives a nice, clear picture, right? But nobody wants to sign up for 2 years.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting what W. Scottus mentions in the chat, and I think it's worth mentioning is, what exists now of satellite is likely probably going to die as Project Loon and other solutions like that come out. Like, if you're not familiar with it, Project Loon is Elon Musk's or SpaceX's project to put hundreds of satellites in.
Oh, they already have thousands. They're putting up like thousands every month.
Yeah.
Right.
There's like 20,000 up there right now, I think.
Perhaps. I don't know the numbers, but yeah, they're basically creating a mesh network of satellites that sit in low Earth orbit and provide internet access to everybody in an area. And so they're geosynchronous orbit, and they scatter them all over an area, and you suddenly can get internet from anywhere. And it's much more reliable and better than what you get out of satellite, because there's more of them creating a larger, like I said, kind of like a mesh network. So
is that going to be 7G?
No, it's 5G.
No, it operates at 5G. Yeah.
Okay.
It's actual true 5G is what the intent. But now I want to correct. So Elon Musk, that's Starlink. You're thinking Loon is Google.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Starlink, the Starlink satellite constellation, it's currently being constructed. They started it back in 2018, I think. They've been putting them up there.
Right.
And they've been successful in targeting underserved areas for testing. Satellite is a future, just not the type of satellite we've been. It's no longer the geosynchronous satellites that could explode and you have to steer them off into space. Direct TV. These are the low Earth orbit ones that they're only up there for a limited period. Their orbit degrades over time and then they burn up, so you don't have to recover them. And then also, since they're so much closer to the ground, you don't need crazy powerful like satellite phones to be able to utilize it.
And in addition to that, like they're small, they're much smaller, they're much less expensive to produce, so they can just throw more up there every 4 years or however often they decay. And with one of the advantages to SpaceX is that they have the ability to get those up there very inexpensively, because the cost per pound has gone down so much for them that they're able to throw up dozens of those.
Yeah. I mean, it helps that SpaceX is building their own spaceships. So it's really easy for them to get them into orbit. So, yes.
Not to mention the recent price and drop in rocket fuel.
It's free. They pay you to take it. Somebody take our rocket fuel.
And that is the week's news, everybody.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And this is the point where we like to say thank you to those wonderful people out there that see some glimmering little something in what we do and have opted to support us. And the patrons, you guys are awesome. We appreciate it. If you're not a patron and you would like to support us, that's patreon.com/the VOD Squad. So, on that note, let's get on to some rants and raves and get out of here because people got better things to do. Alrighty, rants, raves. What do you guys have?
So I just wanted to quickly say I've been super busy all week. I really haven't done anything of any kind of productive, well, a lot of productive things, of any kind of real, me time value. Maybe some video games, but as you guys know, I play some video games after hours sometimes. But I did come across something this week that I have not come across, and I'm surprised I've never come across it. But as usual, I'm usually late to the game of all the good stuff. Everybody out there already knows about this, and it's like, yeah, duh, we knew about this before. But I wanted you guys to know that reddit.com/r/funny has brightened my week immensely. I really have laughed a lot thanks to that page. Thank you Redditors who constantly find the funny things, because I need some funny things right now in my life. Thanks.
All right.
I'll go next. Okay, so the new season of Bosch is out, and I'm 3 episodes in, and I probably could have watched a couple more episodes over the weekend, but after about 3 episodes in, I realized, oh man, this is probably going to be the last season, isn't it? And I really like this show, and it's like, I just want to kind of take my time since it's the last season and all. But yeah, I mean, and if you've watched the show and a fan of the show, you won't be disappointed with this season either. They've got another excellent storyline, and again, I think I've said this before, but the actors in this show, it's not the Hollywood elite actors, they're all good actors, right? But just not the A-list actors, in this show. That might be one of the reasons why I like this show, right? Because it's got a group of really good actors, and it's the ones that you've seen in other movies or other shows, and you're getting to see them kind of step forward and be like one of the main characters. So but yeah, another good season of Bosch. I'm enjoying this. Three episodes in, and can't wait to watch the rest of them.
So I'm about 5 or 6 in. I will say, I think they ran out of material for this season because there's a couple side storylines that have absolutely no reason to be there. They serve no purpose other than to give screen time to characters that otherwise wouldn't have been in the show this season.
Right.
And that kind of bugged me because, especially when you get further down, but otherwise, it's Bosch.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say, and I don't think I'm giving away anything here, there's a daughter character in the show. I like how they've developed her character throughout the seasons and all, and it does more of that in this season as well.
Yeah, I like that she's more prominent in this season.
Right.
So
yeah, me as well.
Which makes me worried because as characters become more prominent, you know what happens. Remember his ex-wife that used to show up every once in a while, but then she became a main character, and I wonder what happened to her. Yeah. So.
His ex-wife, she was in a couple of seasons of the TV show 24.
I never watched that. Yeah.
She was. That's what I say. A lot of these characters in there, they've been in other shows, in movies and things, but they all are given chances to really kind of step forward and be not just a background character, but be one of the main characters.
Yep. All right. Well, who's next?
I guess that's me. I haven't had a lot of time to watch much. However, I have tried to get in most nights one episode of Community, and I am just loving the show. We're almost through season 1. It is really enjoyable, absolutely hilarious, and glad I picked it up. I'm glad for your encouragement. I will continue to watch it.
What service you watching that on, Mike?
Hulu, probably? No.
It's on both Hulu and Netflix now.
Ah, okay.
I'm watching it on Netflix.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Well, I was digging through Netflix, trying to find something to watch because that's the bane of my existence. And I
98% match for you.
See, it used to be really easy. Now they've made it. I found a historical miniseries.
Oh boy, here it comes. Another one.
I'd never heard of. Apparently, it was made by Paramount for something in 2018. It's Waco. Which is the story of the Branch Davidian church in the Waco siege. I went into it very skeptical, thinking, "Oh, this is gonna be hooray! The government, we did everything perfect, and those people are terrible." And I've been rather impressed by the kind of even keel of the story. And there's a few things that I was aware of that I figured, oh, they're not going to go there. And what? Oh, they did go there. It's based off of 2 books. There's one from one of the survivors, and then one written by the FBI negotiator. Because it starts out, it's telling 2 different stories. So it's telling the story of him as the FBI negotiator, and it starts at Ruby Ridge, which was, for those of you that aren't aware, the only reason the Branch Davidian Church got raided is because the ATF screwed up so bad at Ruby Ridge, they went out looking for something they could do to salvage their image. And they made it a big PR stunt that went even way worse. Yep. But that's not what the news told you. Yeah, I recommend it. It's got a lot of people in it, like John Leguizamo, Taylor Kitsch, the blonde girl from Ozark. There's tons of people in there I recognize. It's a good cast. It's I check it out, especially if you're not familiar with. If you are familiar with what happened, watch it. If you aren't familiar, you should definitely watch it because it's
How many episodes for the show?
It's a mini series, so I think there's 6. So it's less than 10. They're hour long. I think I'm 4 episodes in. But yeah, I this was important for me because when that happened in 93, that was a kind of a turning point in my life, because I remember watching this and you get all this stuff. And then as the years went on, I started realizing, wait, so the media is lying to us. The government's covering stuff up. Wait, what is, and that's really when I kind of started to, that was the shift in my awareness around me. And it's all because of those poor people.
I know that Matt is about to say that was when his life changed too, and he decided not to become a cult leader.
No, that's not what happened. So I was in high school. I was a freshman in high school, and I remember every day that our school we had Channel 1. Channel 1 was literally a 10 to 15 minute hey, this is the news of the day designed for high schoolers, middle schoolers, and high schoolers. And the thing happening in Waco was, and the Branch Davidians was every day, and we were all interested to see what was happening and trying. And the Channel One News attempted really hard to not politicize anything, because that's not something you're supposed to do in school. So just the facts and getting that kind of story updates about what's going on, what people are saying, what's going on, was actually a good. Oh, okay. And then when finally the final raid happened, it was a very big, like, what the hell moment.
Well, and the worst part is,
For
and
us,
that's and because of that, I watched the same thing. My math teacher, my freshman year, he knew them because they used to live next door to him in Laverne, California, before they moved to Texas. So he knew them. But the official, like the impartial news that was coming out, the FBI statements, 90% of those statements were lies.
Right.
And that's the point, is the fact that, yes, even though you had people that were trying to just give you the facts, there weren't actually facts.
But they were being fed. They weren't being fed certain information, and they were passing.
It was,
right.
And it was the stuff that we, like after Ruby Ridge, the guy that completely screwed that up. He was from the FBI took over from the ATF. The FBI guy running it came in, and he basically caused a whole bunch of people to get killed that didn't need to be get killed. The FBI gave him an award because if they reprimanded him, then they would have assumed guilt, that it was their fault. They gave him a reward and promoted him so that, nope, it was all the ATF. Not our problem. And so you had people that were going out and doing terrible things and getting rewarded for it because we, in the official words of the FBI's, we can't afford that scrutiny. We can't afford to appear like we are wrong. And I watch it. And it's, I recommend it.
Okay. Interesting.
But
okay.
Alrighty, well, this is the point where we like to say goodbye.
Thanks for
Go
watching.
to bed.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. We look forward to this every week. And if you are watching this for the first time after the fact, come join us. Join us live. You get to participate in the chat. You get to submit titles that we're going to vote on here in the post show that you don't see. So, yeah. Come every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central, Twitch TV. Check us out. Everybody else, head on over to tvs.showbot.tv and vote. We will be heading over there shortly. All right. Let's go.
Bye.
Bye.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.